Mini episode 1436 of the FDH Lounge is brought to you by Sportsology, delivering unconventional columns and webcasts about sports, TV, music, movies, and more. Follow them on the web at sportsology.com.
The FDH Lounge. You want to schedule your life around it.
A long time ago, on a gloomy, wet Cleveland spring night, two men stand alone amidst the late-night drizzle. Their voices echo across the vacant station parking lot as they debate the merits of the great American radio show that have been missing for far too long. On that night, an idea was born. That idea became the FDH Lounge. Welcome to the FDH Lounge.
Hello and welcome to FDH Lounge mini episode 1436, our 2021-22 NFL Divisional Round preview. I'm FDH managing partner Rick Morris here with our look at the four big games. Our picks last week were 5-1 against the line and 6-0 straight up. As with last week, we're leaning on our 2021 FDH end of NFL regular season breakdown, available on the main page at fantasydrafthelp.com. The Saturday late afternoon game has Cincinnati at Tennessee, with the home team laying 3.5. The Bengals have the obvious advantage at quarterback, but also a defensive secondary ripe to be exploited, and their injury-plagued defensive line is vulnerable against the returning Derrick Henry. And the Titans are also poised to take away what Joe Mixon brings to the table. Tennessee is much better in the red zone and on third down on both sides of the ball, and these should be key factors as we take the home team to cover and move on. Saturday night in Green Bay may be pretty gnarly with the wind chills when the Packers lay 5.5 to the Niners, who, with their power running, ironically, may be more of a team built for the conditions than the Wisconsin squad. Additionally, San Fran is the best offensive red zone team in the league, and the Pack is ranked 29th in that regard. The 49ers' recent success against Green Bay, headlined by a rout in the NFC Championship game 2 years ago, seems to present them as a live dog in this scenario, and that's without even taking into account their status as one of the league's hottest teams. And yet, the gap in quarterback play between the two teams is striking, as Jimmy G almost outchoked the Cowboys last Sunday. He'll have to be at his best and then some for San Francisco to cover, which they will barely miss doing as their season ends on the frozen tundra. Sunday's opener has the Rams at Tampa in a rematch of the 1979 NFC Championship game, as the Jekyll and Hyde Rams get 2.5 points. Neither team has great rushing statistics, but LA's backfield is healthier than it's been all year, and Tampa's is still a physical wreck. But both squads are very good against the run, which makes it unlikely that either coaching staff would go way out of character to emphasize it wildly. Both teams are subpar at stopping the pass, which, unsurprisingly, points to a shootout. Tampa Bay has injury woes on the offensive line, which could be costly, as could the suddenly thinned-out receiving corps. The Bucs are second in the league in the red zone offensively, while the Rams are only 21st defensively there, and this feels like it could be a defining stat in the game. This game against the defending world champions on their own turf either proves or disproves the theory of the case for Sean McVay, who threw Jared Goff under the bus in favor of Matt Stafford. It says here that the case falls apart as the Rams lose, don't cover, and end up 2 games short of the Super Bowl that Goff led them to in 2018. The weekend closes with arguably the only game in which both teams are a threat to win it all, Buffalo and KC, as the home Chiefs lay 2. This rematch of last season's AFC Championship game would have seemed unlikely until late in the season when the Bills and Kansas City really got it in gear. The Chiefs' secondary looks vulnerable against Josh Allen's aerial attack, although really, their entire defense was more bend but don't break this year. Buffalo is the top-ranked team in the league by a decent margin on our overall statistical index, and the only area on both sides of the ball where they are even close to mediocre is a rating of 13th in defensive rushing yards, although Kansas City doesn't have a healthy enough backfield to exploit it. However, Buffalo is near the bottom of the league in strength of schedule, and KC is near the top, and we have seen this factor play out a number of times in the playoffs in recent years. When the two heavyweights start exchanging haymakers, will the Bills be able to stand in there based on the wide gap of quality of opposition between the teams? In the end, that narrow consideration makes the pick for us, as the Chiefs cover and move on to their 4th consecutive AFC Championship game. Thank you for joining us for this mini episode of the FDH Lounge.